This segment is sponsored by Cotter House Worthington.
Figuring out if and when to send your aging loved one to a care community can be challenging. At Cotter House Worthington, they understand the weight of that decision, and that's why they're so passionate and dedicated to making sure every single resident is healthy, safe, and thrives even with dealing with dementia. So joining us now, we have the co-owner, Greg seeing us again, and Maria, whose mother is a resident here. It's good to have you both.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Maria, you have such a wonderful story. You moved your mom into Cotter House during the height of COVID.
I did.
And now going into almost 5 years later, she is thriving. Talk about that journey and why you chose Cotter House.
Here we are.
Yeah.
I know. So she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2016, and we started looking at memory care places, and this was at the top of our list. So my mother and I had actually come here months before needing to move her here.
You were scoping out the place
We
first.
were scoping it out for a long time before, and she was in a facility for senior living, and it became COVID, and she wasn't allowed to leave, and I wasn't allowed to get in, and she was at a point in her life or in the stage of Alzheimer's where she couldn't remember to put her phone back on the charger or put the batteries back in her hearing aids, and within a couple of months she really declined, and it was sad, it was hard to watch. She was on the 3rd floor of this senior living community, and I couldn't get to her. And outside her window was a pond, so unless I was willing to hop down into that pond, I couldn't even get into her eyesight. And I called them one day and said, do you mind just sending me a photo of my mother? And it was astounding, the difference. I could tell she was not getting her hearing aids in, she was not using her glasses, she was probably not getting the right medication, and I could tell she was just declining so quickly. And we were 8 weeks into COVID, so I knew something had to happen. So luckily, we had already come here and met with Danielle at the Cotter House. Yeah. And I was looking for somewhere where she wouldn't feel locked in, because to me that was very important. My father was in a memory care facility elsewhere. He knew he was locked in, and it was a horrific time for him, and he died very quickly as a result. So when my mom came upon the same situation, I knew that I needed someone with a place where there's a great staff.
Yeah.
This is the best. Where the house is beautiful. I wanted her to walk in and feel like she would be happy living here. And then the activities were great. It's like being on a cruise ship. She's got activities all day long. They had chair yoga, they had euchre, they had outings. She loved every activity. She was always the first one in the room for the activities here. And she started thriving, but still it was COVID, and I couldn't get to her.
Yeah.
I'm still outside a window. They arranged for me, which is wonderful, they arranged for me to sit outside her room, which first of all, they put her in a room with the idea that I would be outside that window. So they found me a nice little place with a little garden there, so I would be able to sit outside. And so the care provider, Anne-Marie, was amazing. She'd sit with my mother for hours if I wanted her to talk to me. And I would sit there and sing and dance and bring friends and bring computers and photos, and they provided all of that for me. So for me, that alone was what I was looking for. And then to top it off, when you come in the building, you don't feel locked in. Every wall has a window. They all have windows. The arrangement is a huge rectangle of the walls of where they live and where they reside, and inside that rectangle is an outdoor garden.
It's an open community.
So she was able to walk in and out of those doors, feel free, enjoy the windows, enjoy the chickens, the garden, and then let's talk about the food. The food here is amazing. I'm here almost every day for either lunch or dinner, and Amy is the chef, and she cooks everything with whole foods. And I don't know if you've seen my mother's skin. It is beautiful. Her skin looks better than the day she came in because she is eating so well. The food's amazing. And then just the care providers that get her dressed, they put jewelry on her every day. They put lipstick on her. They comb her hair. I could go on and on about the team here, but I think that Greg and his idea for this team and what Tammy's doing here, honestly, I sent my daughter to work here, and she worked here for a while part-time so that she could get her hours for her care hours for medical school. She's now in medical school, but she enjoyed a lot of semesters working here at the Cotter house and seeing her grandmother as well.
Greg,
So great experience.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel you're not one to be speechless, but
No.
I can only imagine when you hear Maria's testimony, her journey, and her story, that you had a part in such a special transition and really helping make a dream possible. What did that mean to you?
We went through a lot. We did. We went through a lot, and he was so good to my mother. And I won't say that he broke any rules, but he certainly helped me to be able to see her and to be a part of her daily life. And I do credit her still being on this earth to having this man and his team involved. I can't say enough about your people and your
Okay.
mission.
I'm going to try to do this. This is the why. This is why we do what we do. I've been trying to tell people about Maria doesn't even know this. I'm trying. So we had a summer event for families, and they're great. We have bands and we have food and entertainment, and it's out on the front lawn and the patio, and we serve mocktail and cocktails, and it's just fantastic, a way for families to connect with staff and their residents, their loved ones, and so I came out and I saw Maria and Cabrini sitting right next to the band, and I asked Maria if she needed anything, and she looked up at me with such sincerity and said, "Nothing. I have everything," and it meant so much. She doesn't even know. I had to walk out of the event. I spent like 10 minutes, so emotional, with so much gratitude of having the opportunity to do this work.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the why. That's why we're all here, to do that. And this is a perfect example of what we do and why we do it. But it really is the driver, and I'm just so grateful for it. And grateful for you, Maria,
Grateful for you.
and you sharing this.
You have something no one else has. Let me tell you, I went to every memory care place. I lost my father to Alzheimer's also, and he was in a memory care unit elsewhere. He lasted 5.5 months. We're starting year 5 with my mother, and I really attribute a lot of it to feeling like, I think this is my house. I come here and I join her for lunch or dinner almost every day, and I join the activities, and like Susan, who just came in, I'm friends with the people that have lost their
it's
family
so
members,
amazing.
and we all still talk to each other. And then just the support of the families, the wives that come in, that, you know, it's a hard time for a spouse. It's a hard time for a child.
Yeah.
But you make that transition so much easier. And clearly, Greg, this is just one of the countless stories like Maria and her beautiful mother that you helped create that perfect community for people watching. Thank you for sharing your story. We look forward to hearing more and more and more. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
If you want to be part of this family here at Cotter House Worthington, you've been struggling with that decision, finding the perfect place, clearly this is your clarion call. This is your answer. If you want to find out more, you can give them a call. The number's on your screen. You can also visit their website today and schedule a free tour, again, to picture yourself in this family.